Everybody, Earl at thelogbook.com, back with some more Voyages of Shelf-Discovery. Sorry this has been such an irregular thing. This has been an interesting year, to say the least. But, in case you can't tell by the graphic at the bottom of the screen, yeah, we're just going to enlist in Starfleet today. It's a good thing, considering that some of my other actual paid work dabbles in the world of Star Trek. It's a good thing that I'm actually a Star Trek fan, and I have been for a long time. If you need proof of that, let me show you something. This very, very well-worn pin. Now this, and there's on the back of it, stamped into the back of it, Star Trek pins, and there's a phone number. I have no idea who I would get if I called that number now, because I'm pretty sure I bought this, gonna say 1989, 1990, somewhere in there, and have had it ever since. It's not quite as shiny as it used to be. Still nice. It has served me well over the years, but it has a successor which just arrived in the mail this week, and we're going to pull that out and kind of go into why my old friend here perhaps isn't the most screen accurate item in the world. As pins go, it's straight as a board, which is kind of odd because it, covers such a wide area if you wear it where it was worn on the uniforms of characters in the 2nd through 6th of the original cast Star Trek movies. And it also appeared in the 7th movie. It appeared in Generations as well. But I remember at the time it's probably about a $20 item, and I have no complaints. For a long time, this was really about the best you could do. Fansets, which is the current licensee for Star Trek pins of all kinds, may have one-upped it, however, because I have just arrived in the mail the Fansets Wrath of Khan Delta, and this is the magnetic one. It is not a pin. Now they do have a pin version available, but I'm preferring the magnetic ones that they have now. I've got 2 jackets that are just festooned with pins, and there are so many holes in those poor things now. So, obviously, you do have the standard Fansets backing card. This just kind of pulls apart. It takes a little bit of effort because there are 3 pretty good size magnets, powerful magnets, I should add, on the back of this thing. Now, you will notice that, unlike my dear old friend here, which is straight as a board, this one is curved, which makes a lot of sense because I don't know about you, but I am definitely a convex surface. I am not I am not a straight line by any stretch. So, you put this here and it kind of bends with your body. And, even if you're not as, I'm obviously very, very round compared to most people, but the point is nobody is flat as a surfboard. Nobody. So let me get this aligned, and it's landing right in the middle of one of these space kittens on my shirt. So very nice, very comfortable. If I was wearing this on this shirt, then these 2 things would be jabbing me in the chest. full disclosure, I'm not a big fan of jabs in the chest. So, and neither is Puck, as you can hear. So this is a very, very nice piece. Let me fish the magnet out. And the other thing that you note is that while the the 80s version of this was, assumed sort of an elongated, perfect elongated oval, this one, which is much more closely resembling what was worn on screen, it is not a perfect oval. It's almost kind of like an elongated, television screen, really. It's really the best way I can describe that shape. Not an oval. And it also has, there's sort of a pearly white background to it instead of it all being a single color. And I'm trying to hold it in such a way that it is just in perfect distance to keep it in focus. And you can actually see it. Also, it's got blue highlights in the background, which the original, gold and silver, basically. Nice and shiny. And also, this one has the actual Delta, the Starfleet emblem, as being extremely shiny. This one does not. It has it it's a completely different relief, and it's a completely different metal, which is not as shiny or reflective. So, much more screen accurate and, much more comfortable to wear to boot. It's heavy. It's got some heft. So, although I clamped this down on my trusty Space Kittens t-shirt, probably this is better off, if you're doing actual cosplay, this is going to stick very well to the fabric of your Munster Maroon or whatever you're affixing it to. And in my experience, the magnets on these are powerful enough. I have to give it a tug to release the backing from the pin. And the magnets on the back of the actual insignia. So you would really have to, for this to come off, you would really have to bump into something and just drag yourself across it to separate it from the backing on the flip side. So it's, if you're doing cosplay, if you're doing a Munster Maroon, which I don't have a Munster Maroon, I just like collecting Starfleet insignia. I'm sorry, it's an old habit going back to Next Gen Com badge that I bought out of the Lincoln Enterprises catalog in 1987. And it's just been a thing that I collect since then. And, not a bad thing to collect. The even the older one, it still looks nice. This still has applications, but if you are aiming for, a super accurate cosplay, then I think Fansets has your item right here. They also have this with a pin backing, like my older friend here. Both of them hover right around the $40 mark. So not an impulse buy. This is something you have to have a deliberate place in your collection for. So, speaking of Starfleet, I do have one other thing to open today, and that is the Enterprise, as seen in Star Trek Discovery. This is the Eaglemoss miniature of I believe the the common nickname for it is the Disco Prize. So there was no small amount of controversy back when it first appeared at the very end of the first season finale. Was where the Enterprise first appeared in Discovery. And as you can see, your standard issue magazine that goes into the creation of the design, the thought that went into it. These are always a wonderful read, and I love them. I The Discovery magazines are smaller. The ones that came with the original Star Trek Starship collection ships tended to be more like a full-size magazine, like a periodical, but obviously they are trying to get this to fit into this box. So we have the support that plugs into the base, the weighted base. And then we have the ship itself, which I'm trying to handle very delicately. And let me put this down here and make all sorts of noise. So here you have, this is a pretty good size model. This is a very, very decent size model. It has pretty good heft in it. I could tell you right now from holding the engineering section that there's a good amount of die cast in this. Now there is some plastic as well, especially the engines and the struts. But yeah, there is some actual metal to this. The bits that are supposed to be translucent are. You have the little dish at the front, and all of the prerequisite markings. I remember being impressed with this design when it first appeared on screen. I know a lot of people were as dismayed as I was delighted, because it kind of Discovery, the first couple of seasons were set before Kirk assumed command of the Enterprise. So people were assuming the Enterprise would look pretty much like it did in The Cage. The original Star Trek pilot, which was filmed in 1964 and didn't quite do the job of selling the show. Let's see if I can figure out how this... Oh, I think it goes like that. Okay. And, unless I'm very much mistaken, like most models of the Enterprise that Eaglemoss puts out into the world, I am pretty sure that the support clamps on to the saucer section, and there you are. So, not a bad model at all. I liked this version of the Enterprise because it, yes, the engine struts are swept back. That to me is not a deal breaker. The engine struts of the original NX-01 Enterprise, commanded by Archer, were swept back. The engines of the Enterprise, as we see it in the motion picture after it's been refit, are swept back. And so, all of a sudden, in that context, the original series Enterprise becomes something of an outlier. I haven't read the magazine, but I hope it mentions and then deflates the myth that the ship had to be 25% different because of some licensing ownership line in the sand between CBS and Paramount, which that line in the sand has since been erased. So It's it's kind of amusing what what came out of that. The just glancing through the magazine real quick, very nice renderings. You have to keep in mind this was not something of which a physical model existed until now. So a lot of what you're dealing with in the booklet are CG renderings as seen on screen. There's a section on the design of it. Oh wow, it went through some design iterations that did have the straight engine struts. Interesting. I'll have to give this a read. I mean, I'm just glancing through it the first time. And really, I think it's very respectful of the original design. It doesn't break the universe for me. To me, this, this is the same ship that, a series or two, because this is the version that will be seen in Strange New Worlds, I presume, when that series premieres in 2022. This is the same ship that, we follow through Kirk's era into the movies by the time which they're wearing these on board. So, yeah, an enterprising day here at Voyages of Shelf-Discovery. Join us again. We will have some more goodies to open up and look at soon.